This video introduces the net energy system for fish feed. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Tu Phán. I'm doing PhD at Aquaculture and Fishery Group, Wageningen University and Research. My supervisors, Johan Barrett, James Kramer, and Dr. Jeroen Kels. So, net energy system, I mean, the scientific terms net energy is quite familiar for pigs, but for fish it's quite new, and today I will explain about this view. At this moment in fish feed, when we formulate the diet for fish, we based on the DE, which is the digestible energy or the metabolizable energy, and to determine the requirement of the fish, we normally use the factorial approach, in which we do the relation between the retained energy and digestible energy intake. And the slope of this relation line is considered as the energy utilization efficiency. And the digestible energy maintenance required for maintenance is at this point. And when we're talking about the DE approach in fish feed, we would like to know how much digestible energy is used for growth. So we mentioned about utilization efficiency, SLUP. That is the main focus of this approach. And also when we buy the fish feed, we see on the label the DE available, which means it's based on this information. For example, we say 70% the slab is 0.7, so we say that 70% of energy is digestible, and that will be calculated the DE value for fish feed. So I just try to make the difference between the model utilization efficiency and the calculated utilization efficiency for you, because this approach based on the model and another approach also called utilization efficiency, which means they calculate the DE based on the digestibility, and they also divide this value for the GE, the gross energy. Then they say, okay, this is also utilization efficiency. However, in my talk, the utilization efficiency is based on the model. And when we use a lot of lower quality ingredients like the byproducts from the processing industry or the blood meal, other plant-based protein materials, then we have the slope of this model fluctuates, and that also leads to the variation in the digestible energy maintenance requirements. And how to deal with this variation is also a big question, because like on different species, the slope require very variable from 50 to 80 something%. And because of the variability in utilization efficiency of uh, DE approach, so we try to find the way to minimize this variation. And somehow, like in the diet, we have protein, fat, and carbohydrates. So um, DE actually is a function of digestible protein, digestible fat, and digestible carbohydrate. So this is the DE approach, and we um, move into the NE approach, in which we distinguish the contribution of each digested macronutrient to retain energy. And by that way, we can calculate the utilization efficiency by dividing uh, beta 1, beta 2, and beta 3 for the nutrient energy value respectively. And then we have the utilization efficiency of digested protein, digested fat, and carbohydrate. So this approach has been available for big nutrition for more than 3 decades. So maybe it's not new to some of you who already experienced in big industry, but for fish, this is quite new. And to summarize the difference between two approaches, the DE and NE approach, I try to visualize this. And you see from DE approach, they consider the digestibility or the fecal loss of nutrients via the feces. But in any approach, we also consider the loss of heat production and the loss of energy via the urine and the gills. And in the NA approach at this moment, we have a publication on Baramandi and CAP. On CAP, we do experiment and also meta-analysis. But for Baramandi, we based on the dataset of Bradley and Ross from University of Stirling, and we have that publication compare any system from these two species. So for common carp, we have this equation, uh, and with different data sets. This is based on experiment. This is based on in-house data of agriculture and fishery group. This is based on literature. And because the R square value of this data set is the highest one, so we pick this one for publication. From the data set of Penrose, we have four diets isoenergetic at 3 15 level, and from that we can generate the net energy equation for Barramundi based on the linear relationship. But when we check the curvilinear relationship for carbohydrates, the relationship was significant for quadratic. So we have another equation based on the quadratic relationship. And as you see, like between Barramundi and carb, the variation in the utilization efficiency of protein and fat is quite consistent. Like it's quite the the variation is quite small and very similar to that of pig. And the key difference between barramundi and carp is the value for utilization efficiency of digested carbohydrate. So to visualize this, we can see for barramundi, um, when we increase the digested carbohydrate, the growth of or the net energy increase up to around uh, 2 gram per metabolic body weight, and then the growth uh, goes down. But for carb, this is not the case. Increased digested carbohydrate intake increase growth linearly. So this also shows that carb has no problem to handle the digested uh, carbohydrate barramundi at a limited capacity and within the range lower than around 1.8 gram of uh, digested carbohydrates per metabolic body weight per day. It can handle well, but over that level, it's unable to handle. Uh, that will limit the growth. And this is the whole picture for the net energy approach so far. Um, like you see, the variation in the uh, energy utilization efficiency of digested fat uh, quite similar among species common carp, carnivorous, barramundi trout, or even tilapia, and also similar to pig. And the variation in uh, utilization efficiency of digested protein are larger than that of digested fat, but it's quite small and quite comparable among species. And for utilization efficiency of digested carb, we see um, the variation is quite large between omnivorous and carnivorous. Like barramundi, quite small, only 3.1 per linear equation. And it's quite large for tilapia and carp, around 10, 11, and quite comparable to that of pig. So somehow, and that's also large for trout. So even among carnivorous fish, the, this digested carbohydrate utilization efficiency is also largely variable. So we need more study to validate if this approach is really working for um, currently farmed fish species worldwide. That's in my presentation. Thank you for your attention.